Welcome back to Mighty Race Later, where celebrity trials and sports drama meet. We're here for a good time, not a long time, so let's get into it. It's been 1 year since Luigi Mangione allegedly murdered Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare. I'm not sure there's a lot of doubt that he was the guy who shot Brian that morning, but there is doubt that Luigi violated Section 125.25, murder in the second degree. One is a moral crime, the other is statutory. Is Brian Thompson dead because of Luigi? I think yes. Can prosecutors convict him? I'm not sure yet. Last year, Brian Thompson was leaving a Midtown hotel and was shot dead on the sidewalk. The shooter fled through Central Park and a nationwide manhunt ensued. The suspect was identified as a 26-year-old from a wealthy Maryland family. On December 9th, an Altoona, Pennsylvania McDonald's worker recognized his eyebrows and called the police. Luigi was found at a table in the back enjoying his hash browns. For the next 20 minutes, police physically surrounded him, asked questions, and searched his backpack. They found the gun that was used to kill Brian Thompson, a silencer, and a notebook with receipts that showed Luigi spent a few days stalking the CEO beforehand and also provided a really good motive for the killing. Luigi Mangione has been charged with murder in New York and in federal court. The questions before the state court this week are if the police had to advise Luigi of his rights before the McDonald's interrogation, and if the backpack could be searched without a warrant. The answer will probably be yes. It was a manhunt and the police acted appropriately. But if the judge says that Luigi was detained in that McDonald's and he wasn't free to leave, in which case he had to have been read his rights, then the statements around his guilty conscience are thrown out and the jury will never hear them. If the judge says that the backpack was on the ground and not technically within Luigi's immediate control, then it shouldn't have been searched without a warrant, and the gun and the notebook get thrown out as fruit of the poisonous tree. The defense, led by Mark Agnifilo, who was also Diddy's lawyer, likely filed these motions so that they could get a preview of the prosecutor's evidence and witnesses, as well as to preserve appellate questions. Attorney General Pam Bondi has said she wants the death penalty, so some of this is also to put them in a position to negotiate that off the table. I assume the backpack and its contents will be admitted into evidence. It was in his control, it was seen in the surveillance photos, and was assumed to hold evidence, but mostly because the police had a warrant within a few hours, and so they would have been able to get the contents anyways. But the verbal statements Luigi made to the police in the McDonald's may get thrown out. The police said they recognized him right away. If that's true, then why not immediately arrest him? Why ask him questions for 20 minutes? If you are not free to leave or are being arrested, the police are required to advise you of your right to remain silent and your right to an attorney. These rights are commonly called Miranda rights, from the landmark Miranda v. Arizona case in the 60s. If you don't know the history of it, watch Miranda's Victim, an indie film with an all-star cast that dramatizes Ernesto Miranda's conviction and successful appeal. And never forget that you have the right to remain silent. You may not have that ability, but you do have that right. The judge for Luigi Mangione should decide these questions in the next week and hopefully set a trial date. It would be nice to have another summer blockbuster trial to look forward to. In more celebrity legal news, the YouTuber Jack Doherty, who is known for daredevil stunts and pranks, is again in legal trouble. He is only 22 and has amassed millions of followers and subscribers. Last year, while live streaming, he crashed his $200,000 car and injured his cameraman. And last month, he was filming content while impeding traffic in Miami. The video I saw showed a bunch of Miami cops standing around and Jack Doherty and a group of friends going up to them and asking them for a duel. The cops told him multiple times to get on the sidewalk and out of the roadway. He kept saying he would, but first he needed to create content and win a bet. Another video showed the crowd telling each other that it was all okay because the cops were just actors. Wrong. He was arrested, and since he had drugs on him, now faces up to 7 years in prison. Jack Doherty is an idiot. and needs some consequences in his life. And I feel like a boomer just thinking that. The Osefos were back in court this week. As part of pretrial motions, they have insisted the search was illegal, the arrests were illegal, yada yada. These are standard. You want the judge to decide all the things so you can appeal them later if necessary. The latest news, however, is that the police are alleging they have 40 credit and debit cards in not just their names, but their companies and their aliases. There are no charges based on this new information yet, but it does go to motive. These Real Housewives are real bad at budgeting. Switching over to sports. Is Serena Williams evolving back to tennis? In 2022, when Serena last played, she avoided using the word retirement, but instead she said she was evolving away from tennis. And despite her insistence on X this week that she was not coming back, she did take an important step to return to competition. According to The Athletic, Serena has registered with the International Registered Testing Pool, which is the tennis organization for drug testing. This is required at least 6 months before returning to play, which would make her eligible to compete as early as April of 2026. Maybe she's just keeping the door open, but if she and Venus want to play doubles with each other at Wimbledon, I would not complain. As we look forward to the Winter Olympics, eyes are on the hockey arena. For the first time in 12 years, professional hockey players will be able to compete at the Olympics. And in honor of that, the IOC and the NHL made agreements about the ice and the stadium, and so far the IOC has not held their end up. The stadium is not finished being built, the rink is about 3 feet too short, and they've not been able to test it yet. The organizers have admitted there is no plan B. They have just pushed the construction company to work faster. Meanwhile, the NHL will hold an outdoor game in Tampa a few weeks before the Olympics. They have held various outdoor games at non-traditional venues over the last 17 years. In the DC area, we have seen games at Nats Park and Navy Stadium. Florida is out here refrigerating the tropics for one primetime game, and Milan is acting as if 6 years' notice is a rush job they have to cut corners to complete. And can we talk about what's happening at LSU right now? I'm not normally a college football fan, but this is fascinating. Brian Kelly was 8 games into his 4th season as the LSU head coach when he was fired earlier this season. It doesn't seem like a big deal to be fired after a disappointing tenure, but his contract allows for him to be paid the full amount if he's fired without cause. And while the cause is that he wasn't a good fit and no one really liked him, the contract was written so that LSU owes him the remaining $54 million. You see, he and the former athletic director signed a 10-year, $95 million contract that was pretty much guaranteed. The new athletic director just hired Lane Kiffin. This situation is a layered mess. Lane Kiffin has never left a job on good terms. He was fired from his coordinator position at Alabama right before the national title game, fired for cause as the Oakland Raiders head coach. He was famously left on the tarmac after being fired from USC, and now he's leaving Ole Miss for an SEC rival. He's been the head coach for the University of Mississippi for the last 6 years. The team is 11-1, their best season in school history, and some say that they have a legitimate chance of winning the championship in January. So why would you leave that? To defend himself, Lane publicly claimed he and the players wanted him to stay through the end of the season, but the Ole Miss administration forced him out. Current players have taken to social media to dispute that version of events, with some former players going so far as to call their old coach a snake and a liar. The fans have booed him at the airport, and one allegedly tried to run him off the road. Rightfully so, there's a lot of hard feelings here. For Lane, this makes sense. LSU is a more prestigious football school, and well, they're paying him a whole lot more. But for LSU, this contract might even be worse than Brian Kelly's. Lane Kiffin signed for 7 years, $91 million, including a guaranteed buyout clause. Additionally, LSU is paying Ole Miss to terminate his contract and will pay Lane any bonus he would have gotten from Ole Miss if they win the championship. At first glance, Paying $13 million a year for a coach seems insane, but you have to look at the whole picture. The fiscal year for LSU is the school year, so I have slightly dated numbers from July of 23 to June of 2024. But LSU Athletics spends about $218 million across all their sports programs, and the only profitable ones are football and men's basketball. Their women's basketball team won the NCAA championship that year, and they still lost $8.5 million. So, now does paying $13 million a year for a coach seem insane? Yes, the answer is yes. This is crazy. I understand the argument that big sports have to subsidize the rest, and the only way schools have water polo or gymnastics is because of football and basketball. I even understand that non-athletes want to go to these schools, and they all wind up giving back, which increases the school's standings. What I don't understand is paying college coaches almost the same as NFL, when the revenue is only a fraction. And I will never understand giving long-term, guaranteed contracts to guys who clearly don't deserve them. For LSU's sake, I hope this works out. But Lane Kiffin seems to be a big flirt who can't settle down, and they just put a $91 million ring on it.